internationals apply for permanent residency from their home country and move to Canada already as permanent residents. I don't know any other country. Well, the USA may give permanent residence to people who are, how do I call it? Green card. They call it green card. People who won American lottery, of course. But people, welcome back to our channel. Let me see what is the problem. So today's video, I'm going to be talking about why immigrants move to Canada and not Europe as of now. Yes, I understand a lot of people are moving to Canada lately, and I'm going to be talking about some of the things that are causing or why people are moving to Canada. Well, to me, I don't pay attention to maybe videos why people are leaving Canada. I don't look at that. And most of the time, I usually tell my followers not to pay attention to such videos. Of course, things like this will always pop up. People will always pop up. But it takes wisdom and a smart mind, a researcher, to see beyond all these things. Of course, people, not every place is like a heaven, right? But I must tell you, there are certain places you need to use your brain. Or sometimes when you watch videos, you need to use your brain in order to reflect. Now, I want to tell you why some people like moving to Canada and not some European countries. But again, before I talk about this, my name is Milton. Welcome to my channel. And if you are an international student following me, please like this video for me. Just like it because you are liking for me, and do not forget to share with one individual. Don't forget, I have always said that everybody's hand is not the same. If you do not have the necessary or the required funds to migrate to Canada, look for a cheap Schengen country and migrate to. I talked about Croatia, I talked about Lithuania, I talked about Austria. There are a lot of countries I mentioned in one video that is closer to 3,000 views already on this channel. So please make sure you look at that video, because Italy is also another country. The proof of funds you need to migrate to these places, it's almost maybe like 4 to 5 million CFA francs or Naira. You are good to go. But with Canada, even 10 million is not enough in your bank account. Yes, if you do proof of funds to show that you want to go and study in Canada as an international student, for 10 million in that bank account, it's small. For those who have been watching my videos, those who know how to document proof of funds, they would bear with me that even 10 million is small. So we are not talking about that. I'm just using school as a scenario to explain to you that moving to Canada or to a country using the study pathway is usually the best option. Now let's come back to this video, why immigrants move to Canada and not Europe. There are 4 main reasons here I'll be talking about. The first one I will proceed with is the language barrier. Most of us already know. Well, in Canada, there are 2 languages, French and English, but not all the areas in Canada will speak French. Even if they want to speak French, it is still more better, okay, because the official language of Canada is English, though some provinces like Quebec and now Canada is also encouraging French speakers. For those who already know the process of express entry, they will understand what I mean, because I know everything on that website. Guys, if you need a one-on-one consultation with me, please book from the video description box, or you check our Facebook pages, Milton Fonkwa and Milton Fonkwa's Consulting. Milton Fonkwa's Foundation is equally my page. Then Milton Fonkwa is my official profile. So check all of this and follow us. Now, language barrier. A lot of people do not want to move to Europe because of what? Languages. For example, if you want to go to Europe and study in most countries, especially Germany, Austria, the Netherlands, maybe Sweden. No, Sweden is in English. I want to talk only about countries that, if you are not even very careful, to study a bachelor's program in English is usually a problem. Like Switzerland, most of these countries like this, you will rarely find, like, if you want to look at their bachelor's degree programs, Norway, if you want to look at their programs, just about 20% of their bachelor's programs are in English. I'm not saying that you cannot study in English, but I'm just simply quoting scenarios here. So a lot of people move to Canada because even diplomas, certificate, postgraduate diplomas, bachelor's degree, you are good to go in English language without any issue. The only issue here is you need to be financially ready, and of course, you study, you look for a school, and you apply, and you're good to go. Not like in all these other countries, you go there, language barrier is a problem. And another problem too, when you study in these languages, it is often very difficult. Most of the time, you need to take at least maybe 5 to 6 months, sometimes 1 year to study. I have a friend who moved to Germany around 2015, 2016. He was going for a bachelor's program. He had to take the German language. I still have people now who are telling me they want to move to Germany. They are also now trying to study the language, so it's not easy. But for masters, you can try and you squeeze yourself in these countries in English. Of course, they do have English programs in the English language, or they have programs, masters programs in English language, so it's normal. But people are running to Canada because most of the time, I can't lie to you, a lot of people are going to Canada because of this language issue. It may be a minor issue to many people, but I know it's problem number one. Secondly, a lot of people are running to Canada because Canada gives fast and easy PR. There is no debate about this. Canada is the only country that I know that can permit citizens or internationals apply for permanent residency from their home country and move to Canada already as permanent residents. I don't know any other country. Well, the USA may give permanent residence to people who are how do I call it, green card. They call it green card, people who won American lottery, of course. But Canada is the only country that I know you can move from your home country as a PR holder to Canada. They have PR pathways, which is the most common one is the express entry route, or the express entry, yes, where individuals are selected based on points, right? You write your IELTS, you evaluate your bachelor's degree or your master's or PhD, then you calculate your points. If they are okay, you create an express entry profile, you go to the pool. Then the Canadian government will now be selecting people based on those points. They even do what is called provincial nomination, and of course people are also selected based on categories. So this is common with Canada, and they are still doing it, you understand. Then from there, if you meet the cutoff point, you are selected and given an invitation to apply. They call it ITA. So only Canada does this, and when you apply, it takes 3 to 6 months. You get your PR. Of course, it can go more than that, but it is very common. So Canada, it's easy and a lot of people, we are chasing. Sometimes most of us, we are chasing this PR and citizenship, not like we are chasing even money, because we are looking for possibilities where our children and our families can be comfortable in the future. So that is why a lot of people are choosing the Canada, but not everybody can apply for PR, so you have to put this into consideration. If you do not have a bachelor's degree and at least 3 years work experience, it's going to, at least even if you have 1 year work experience with a bachelor's degree, you can start trying to see if you can actually get a nomination, but it's going to be hard. All right, in this case, there are more options you can use, and you go to Canada as a permanent resident. But none of these European countries, Germany, Italy, Norway, Sweden, and the rest, they don't have this pathway. Okay, so that is another point. Then the other option is the credit card option. There is a policy in Canada where if you want to buy something like a house or a car, you can use what they call credit score. But in most countries, it's not possible. When you are using, I don't know how the system works, but most people, like in most countries, it is not possible. I think in the UK, it is also very possible to build this credit score and eventually get things using the credit score, something like that. But in Italy, how do you want to get the credit score? How do you want to get it in Switzerland, in Norway? Most European countries, they don't have this option. So this is another way. You see a lot of people can buy houses using this method. People can buy houses using other methods, and as long as you are a PR holder in Canada, there are a lot of other advantages. If you decide to go to school again, you pay the same tuition fee as a Canadian citizen. The only difference is that you cannot vote and you don't have a Canadian passport. But eventually, after 3 years, you can apply for your citizenship and everything will be sweet. So that's the reason a lot of people are running to Canada. Now, let's take a look at the job offers. When I talk about jobs, I do not mean petty job, odd jobs and stuff like that. Looking at the system of Europe and Canada, Canada is the only country where, or if not the only country, but one of the countries that is so flexible in such a way that if you graduate as a medical doctor, you are going to get a job as a medical doctor. If you graduate as a lab technician, you are going to work as a lab technician. If you graduate as a nurse, you are going to work as a nurse. If you graduate as a plumber, you are going to use your plumbing certificate to get a job as a plumber. If you graduate as a manager, you are going to go and work as a manager. This Canada is one of those countries that is very flexible and can give you jobs like this. It is very, like I said, it is possible. But a country like Finland, recently, let me tell you a story. Recently, a friend reached out, not a friend, but a follower, because I knew him only during our appointment. He booked an appointment and we were talking. He told me that he has graduated and he is waiting for his maybe work permit to be granted. He is going to get like three years work permit according to what he told me, but he has graduated from school already. But he was telling me that in Finland it's not easy to get jobs directly the way, like you study this in school, you get a job like this. You study this in school, you get a job like this. I'm not very sure about this. I have checked, but it seems true. But what this guy told me, I can believe him, because he told me he has gotten all his documents. He is in the evaluation process and is ready to write his IELTS. I explained everything to him, whereas so in as much as the PR is concerned. So after that, he will now proceed and go into the express entry pool. So you see, looking at it, it's not that easy in Europe to graduate, to study engineering, graduate and get a job as an engineer, to study medicine, graduate and get a job as a medical doctor. It is not that easy. But in Canada, it looks somehow flexible. So, but I'm not saying that you cannot graduate as a medical doctor or as an engineer and get a job in Europe. I'm just making you understand that it is more flexible in Canada than in most European countries. And again, language barrier is a main problem a lot of internationals face. I'm using my platform now to tell international students in other European countries, like, if you are there, please study the language. Language helped me a lot in 2015 to 2019. I'm not joking about this. I was working because of language. I had to study the language of the country I was. Okay, so please put all this into consideration. It is very, very important. Do not joke with language of a country. But if you want to move to Canada, prepare yourself and you move. English should be your priority. But if you are in a foreign country, Italy, Switzerland, Norway, and all these other countries, Denmark, Netherlands, study their languages, okay, because it's going to help you in the long run. You never can tell. I hope this video helps you. Till we meet again in